Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we will learn something that's super easy but it is interesting at the same time. When you update your smartphone, you might have noticed that it asks for confirmation on whether to apply the update by restarting your phone, right? Similar situations happen when we apply a patch to our laptops as well. Today we will learn how to write a program that asks a user to respond and waits for it. It's going to be super fun. First, let us build a mental model on how the code would look like. It would definitely need a command to ask and wait for user response, and then when the user responds, we must store the response in a variable for verifying whether to proceed or not. The command that Python provides for this purpose is called input. It can take a string that allows you to ask a question to the user and then it waits for the user's response. The program resumes when the user enters a response and the command finishes its task by returning the response text. Let's write the code in Colab. See, it waits for us to respond. This is why the print line is not executed yet. Once we enter a response, the input command will return it. The variable your response will store the response. Then the next line will be executed and it will print a response. Now let us enter hello world and press the enter key. See, it prints hello world. Now let's put this lesson into practice and build something more practical. Our next task is, can you write a code to ask users to type yes or no? And if they write no, then ask again and again until they say yes. One way to do this is to write the command and test the response again and again. A sample code would be something like this. See, this code can wait a maximum of 3 consecutive no's. If we want more no's, then the code needs to have more if blocks nested one under another. Clearly, it is an inefficient way to write many nested if blocks for asking inputs multiple times. Can you think smart and solve it by writing once? Think. Well, a possible solution could be like this. First, let's see it working, and then we will explain the code. See, it worked. Now, let us take a closer look at this code. The key idea is to use a loop to avoid writing the same if block again and again. Here, we use a while loop, but the same can be done using a for loop as well. Next, we should note the effect of the hard-coded true in the while condition. This is to say that we always want to loop, no matter what the response is. This is fine if a user keeps on responding with no's, but this does not work if a user types yes. This is because with a yes, we want to exit the loop and move to line 9. We will explain soon how that can be done. Then, inside the loop, we gather the user's response. If it is a no, we pass. That means we do nothing in the if block. Since there is no code after the if-else block, we reach the end of the while loop block at line 8. Then we evaluate the loop condition at line 1 and we find it true. So we start the loop again. But if the user enters a yes, then we shouldn't pass. That's because with a yes, we want to move out of the loop and do something such as restart a phone or in our case, just printing something. So we need a way to exit the loop on demand. Python provides a command called break. We use the break command from the else block, that is when a user enters yes. Let us recap the code. First, we enter a while loop and continue looping until we see a break command. Inside the loop, we collect user responses and we do nothing if the user has responded with a no. This means we loop as long as the user keeps on typing a no. But when the user types yes, we use the break command to exit the loop and move to line 9. At this point, we can evaluate what to do. In this case, we go ahead and print some messages. Now that we understand how the code works, we can also simplify the code with a single if command and not using any else part. Before you see our code, take a pause and give it a try yourself. Let's see this now. See, it works. Now let's discuss a vital principle on general coding. The principle is to remember that the same set of tasks can be done in many ways. If our task is to arrange numbers in ascending order, it can be done in many ways too. Similarly, if our job is to find a city name starting with an A, there are also many ways to achieve this. This is why we have been using the phrase "one of the ways to do this" all along, and never using definitive phrases like "only way to do this." A smart programmer should try to write code in such a way that it can run fast, takes less memory, and hopefully is easy to understand as well. With this spirit, we now try to write yet another way to do the same task of asking users to respond. This time we impose a restriction that we cannot use the break command, but we can still use while loop. Can you tinker your way on this? Before we show you how, let me guide you on how to think critically. In fact, let's take a step back and recall our task. We want to keep asking users for yes or no until we get a yes. Good? This means we must have a decision command to determine whether to continue nagging or to break out of the nagging loop, right? In the previous code, we had two places of decisions, one in the if loop and another in the while loop. So far you are with me, right? Alright. Now since we are trying to not use the break command, we have to find another way to break free. But not from the if condition. This is where you need to think. Well, you can ask yourself, can I tweak the while loop's decision to break free? Take your time and give it a shot. If you can't wait to see what we have got, here it is. See, it works. The improvisation we did here is in moving the if block's decision to while's decision. But to do that, we must set some initial value to the variable your response. This is what people say out of the box thinking. Hope you had a fun session today. That's all for now. See you soon. Ciao.